Well, good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome because I don't know about you, but we're in the middle of a storm here in North Devon. So thankfully it's nice and warm in my house and on the Zoom room. So you're very, very welcome. And it's lovely to see some familiar faces, some new faces, some faces we've known for many years, and some brand new names, which is lovely. It's always the favorite part for me of the summits and any online stuff we do is as these people start rolling in, we go, "Oh, Anne, we haven't seen you for, oh, great to have you with us, Ellen. Oh, Joe's here again." All the joy of the lovely names and faces. So thank you for being here, for being part of our community. It's wonderful. So I wanted to start. We've got Deb kicking us off this morning, as we tend to try and start with Deb on our summits to get things rolling. But I wanted to just remind you, if you have read your emails or if you've been with us before, you'll know this. But this summit came as an inspired idea for Deb as part of our annual conference. So we have a conference every year in March in North Devon. And just to kind of keep that energy and that feeling and that connection alive, we decided to do 3 summits during the year in between each conference. So this event is part of that. It is a free event, as you'll perhaps know, and you get the recordings afterwards, of course. But if you enjoy this and you like being with people and being in this conversation and being in a room together, then I would very much invite and encourage you to come to the conference, because it is a fantastic event, if I say so myself. It is, there you go. I was going to say, there's going to be people on the call that will
I
not.
was going to say there are people. Give us a wave if you've been to the conference and you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely it's an amazing 3 days together, and these 3 days online is just a little taster of that. Quite a few of our speakers this time are speakers in March on purpose to invite you and show you who they are and what they're up to. So Deb is one of the speakers, in case you didn't make that connection. So she'll show you what she's made of today, and you'll know what to expect when you come in March. But on all of the emails, there will be a little footnote somewhere to have a look at the website and find out a bit more about the conference. But you're also welcome. We have an open inbox. You're very, very welcome to drop any questions over to us, because we're happy to help with that, of course, too. So make sure to check that out. And on that note, Deb, I'm going to hand over to you. Deb's going to start and share for about 40 minutes, and then we'll take a 5-minute comfort break before we come back for question and answers. And we'll aim to finish around 11:15. So Deb, your topic, I believe, is, let me get this right because it was a long one, leading love, connection in action. So all yours, Deb.
Well, thank you, Beck, and thank you everybody for being here. It's so good to see you all. Oh, Marie, hi. Lovely to see you. Yeah, it's always nice seeing the faces of people we know from various places and have come across in various ways, and like you say, totally new people. It's just, yeah, it's really lovely. So thank you very, very much indeed for being here, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And I've got a little I have little note things on my desk because I like it. I enjoy it. Something I do. And on this one, it says, the conference is not just a 3-day event, it's a way of life. And that's how this came about, really. The whole, we have those amazing 3 days in the room, and then we go an entire year until we're back in the room again. And it's like, it's too long, before we can do this again. And so that was where the idea came from. Felt like a God-inspired idea to just keep the connection going, and also to invite people. I know it's not always possible to get to in-person events. Personally, I love being in a room with people. I think there is something incredible about being together in a room, but I am also very, very grateful that we have the ability to do this, to get together online for people, for various, we can't all be together all day, every single day. It would be a little bit squashed in my caravan here if we all tried to be here all at the same time. So yeah, it's a really, really beautiful thing that we get to do this. So thank you. So my title this morning, Leading with Love, Connection in Action. So I came across the principles in 2000 and 11. And I was in a mess when I came across the principles, a terrible, terrible mess. And what the principles have given to me is a really, really beautiful foundation, a gorgeous grounding to continue to come back to. So one of the first things that I heard when I heard somebody speaking about the principles, and just in case there is anyone on here or anyone listening to the recording who doesn't know what the principles are, the three principles are a man named Sydney Banks had a moment of connection to all that is, to God, to the power behind life, whatever word you want to use it, whatever that understanding is for you. Sydney Banks had a connection to something and saw in a moment of enlightenment, I guess, how life works. And he shared that. And he shared it. And one of the ways he spoke about it was he spoke about it as three principles, three things that are unchanging, three things that we can rely on, that we can know will always be there and always work in the same way. And I don't know about you, but in life, it's really, really handy. I mean, it can be frustrating sometimes when things will always only work the same way. You know, it's kind of like, oh, just once, couldn't gravity make something go up instead of down? You know, just occasionally. But if we are trying to live, if we are trying to do something a certain way, it's incredibly handy to have systems and things that we can rely on that will always do what they always do. It's like, you know, it's not going to suddenly do something different when you lean on it a bit harder. There it is, and that's how it is. And one of the first things that I found incredibly handy that I saw was I had a lot of thinking, a lot of thinking. I mean, to be fair, I still do, but you know, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head, you know, blah, 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 like a narration that wasn't always helpful. This commentary going on. And just one of the first things I saw that the principles opened up for me was a realization that I did not have to listen to that. And just because it was in my head didn't make it true. And that was like, whoa, oh my goodness. You mean, and still to this day, it never ceases to amaze me. The things that can be in my head that I can be going along with, and then all of a sudden you do know you don't have to believe this, right? You do know that you don't have to move this out the way or do anything with it or listen to it or interact with it if you don't want to. And it's like, oh, the relief again, that grounding to be able to just come back to that simplicity. I do not, just because a thought is in my head, doesn't make it my thought. It isn't necessarily what I think, doesn't make it true, doesn't make it mean anything. I can just let it go if I want to. I don't have to do anything with it or to it or about it. Or it's like, whoa, that's mind-blowing. And then to see along with that, Sydney Banks used the word mind, and I personally really like the word God. The word God works for me incredibly well. But another word that I love to use is love. I think love works very, very well too, the word love. But seeing, along with, there is a principle called the principle of love, the principle of mind, the principle of God. That is something that is unchanging. It doesn't change. It always does the same thing. You can rely on it. It acts in the same way no matter what. And it was fascinating to me to realize that there's something deeper about us. It was really helpful to see the thing about thought, incredibly helpful. And then to see, do you know what? There's something behind that, something much deeper, a spiritual understanding of who we are. the fact that we are conscious, and the fact that this power behind life, love, shows up in the same way. Just we can rely on it like we can rely on gravity. And I started to get curious. And those of you who have been around me a bit lately will know I started something called the love experiment. It's like, okay, well, let's play with this because I love to play. One of the things that I noticed since I came across the principles, it was I being told that something is a principle, to me, that's what it means. It's unchanging. You can rely on it. It's going to do what it says it's going to do. So to me, it was like, okay, well, let's play with this and let's see if this is true. Let's see if love is a principle. Let's see, rather than just something that we, talk about with our special person or whatever it is. What love actually is? What if it is principle? What if it is unchanging? What if you can rely on it? What if, yeah. And so I thought, okay, let's experiment with that. Let's play with that. Because to me, having the foundation of the three principles that Sydney Banks talked about, having that foundation, that steadied me. That helped me regulate my life. It helped me be clearer about a lot of things. And then I was like, okay, I have this understanding, I have this life. And I looked around and I saw so many people struggling and suffering in a way similar to how I had struggled and suffered, and in other ways too. Variations of the way I could see the role that thought was playing, what was going on, what was happening. And it was like, okay, I really, really, really would like to make a difference. I really, really, really would like to serve. I would really like to show up and share some of what I had seen that has made a night and day difference to my life. So like, how can we do that in a playful way, rather than getting all serious and, and it's not to belittle some of the things that we go through. There are some terrible things that happen in this world, some scary things, some horrible things. But it is like, okay, what if this principle that is behind everything, what if that can help us through no matter what? No matter what. What if that could possibly be true? And what can that mean for us as individuals? So I got really, really interested, and I decided to make a commitment because I read this amazing quote, and I have written the quote here. I read this amazing quote. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favour all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of, I can't say that word, something. Anyway, so we won't even try. So whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic. Begin it now. And I really love that quote. So I decided to, in part of the playing with the love experiments, like, okay, so commitment, does that make a difference? Does it? If I decide to commit to living from love, not fear, what would happen? And so that was how the love experiment was born. It was just something within me, just this whole, okay, what happens if you do that? And providence, God, love, whatever it was, did indeed move as soon as I made that commitment. I'm just going to decide to live from love, not fear, and see what shows up, experiment with it, see what shows up, see what happens, see if I can actually be connected to love, that connection in action, and come from that as much as it is humanly possible. And not from a space of being angry with myself if I don't, or any of those. That's the great thing about an experiment. When you're experimenting, anything goes. If something doesn't work, you just adjust and go again. If you do something, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, in that moment. And for every moment that I have showed up living from love, I've also had many, many moments when I've gone into fear and showed up really, really fearfully. And then it's like, oh, yeah, what can I see in that? What can I learn from that? What can I know about that? And I have had many, many moments where people have said things to me, or my head has said something to me, or whatever, something has happened. I've been on calls, on courses, on all sorts of things. And it's literally the invitation to be fearful, the invitation to defend myself, the invitation to separate from the person or the people in front of me through that fear has been huge. And then this commitment, it's like a little something inside me. Well, what if you just try coming from love and see what happens? What happens if you just keep that commitment in this moment? And my life has changed in ways that I didn't believe it was possible it could change. The things that have happened, the things that have played out since doing that. And one of the first things that showed up for me after I had made this commitment to love, after I was, I had this grounding in the principles, this understanding about the role that thought plays in my experience. I had an understanding of that. And then something showed up about how we are one, how there is only one thing here. There is only one being, if you like. But it seems as if we are having an experience of separation. It feels like we are all aspects, in this human experience. It doesn't feel like, it feels like I am a separate being from all the beings that show up here. And so I was really interested seeing, okay, there's all these different aspects of the divine. And it feels like that's not an accident. It feels like we each have our unique, the unique piece that we bring to the jigsaw puzzle. We all bring something. We all bring something incredible. And it's like every single one of us, it's like there is a seed planted in each one of us. And when we each cultivate the seed that is within us, we make the most beautiful garden. It's like the different flowers that come up, the fruits, all of these things, the difference, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And as we are all aspects of this, it's like we all need each other, because it is like we each have a piece. Nobody has every piece, but nobody doesn't have a piece either. It's like everybody has something incredible that they bring, but nobody doesn't bring anything. Everybody has their incredible thing that they bring. And then one of the things that I noticed that showed up after I began to see that was something that I heard somebody say this word, and it really landed with me. So I adopted it, and it's a lied entity. It's like my mind makes up, like I would see somebody else cultivating what was in themselves. I would look at people and see how clever they were. I would look at people and see how incredible they were. I would look at people and see the brilliance that walked into the room when they walked into the room. And then my mind would start to say, and you haven't got anything, you're useless, you're no good, blah, 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 whatever. It would lie to me. It would make all these things up. And I would create myself as someone who wasn't good enough, who had to have approval from other people, who had to be a people pleaser so that you approved of me, whatever it was. So it was like, instead of cultivating that beautiful seed that is within me, I was busy making up something, not being good enough, running around, seeing the brilliance and the amazingness and the incredible things that other people were bringing, and thinking, I need to be like them. So I was deserting myself and trying to be someone else, trying to when I look at what the love experiment is and how this was shown to me so clearly, the clarity with which I saw this. See, when we are in fear, we feel like we are separate from the other people. We feel like we are in competition with the other people. We feel like we have to prove something. So and fear always tells us we're not enough. The first thing, most of us have a fearful thought when we wake up in the morning, even if we don't recognize it as fear. It's like, oh, there's not enough time. Yeah, most of us, oh, what time is it? What time is it? Oh, there's not enough time. Straight away, we start with not enough. And once we are believing the lie of lack and there is not enough, that will eventually I call these the cycles that we have. That cycle will eventually come around to I'm not enough. And so that became my identity. Deb who's not enough. Deb who's not good enough. Deb who is the people pleaser. Deb who has to hide who she is so people only see this thing that I have made up that must be better. And it's like the love experiment exposed that. It showed that I was doing that. It showed me the places, in spite of everything I had learned, it showed me the places that I was doing that. And it invited me to trust, to love, to be enough, and to be incredibly grateful for the other people in my life that were showing up doing amazing things. And that was a huge weight off my shoulders, because again, then when you look at, we are all aspects of the divine. We have a seed within us. We have something incredible within us, and everybody has that. And if we nurture that beautiful, incredible thing that we have within us, what happens is that beautiful quote again, other people who are going to be really helpful, who are going to really open doors for us and us open doors for them. We can be in service to them and they can be in service to us. It can be a beautiful, beautiful, that can be a really healthy, beautiful cycle. That's what shows up when we trust and know and love who we are. And then we can get to look at other people and look at the brilliance and the amazingness and the marvelousness that these people bring, and just be grateful for it and love it and see the amazingness in that too. Like if you think of a garden, and whilst I managed to get a gorgeous week last week in Scotland with my eldest daughter and my gorgeous little grandson Fifey, had a fantastic week in Scotland. And one day we went to the botanics, the gardens that are just down the road from them. And although it's not the best time of year to go to a garden, there wasn't quite as many things in bloom as there are when we go in the summer. There were some really, really beautiful things in that garden. And you could really see, if it had just been, it's quite a big garden, and we walked around it for about half a day. And I could see, if all there had been was one variety of tree, and that was it, nothing else, just that again and 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 again, it wouldn't have been the incredible place that it was. The incredible thing about it was the amazing variety that was in that garden, the different flowers and plants, and the ones that even at this time of year were showing us the colours, the colours of the leaves were magnificent. And the colours really pinged, really, really popped because of the other colors. And this is like us as human beings. We really pop with who we are and what we bring when we are set in a garden of others. When there are other people around us for us to show our colors. Like the colors of the leaves looked amazing because there were reds and golds and greens and browns. And just one of those colors, you wouldn't have seen the magnificence of one of those colors if it weren't for the other colors. So the magnificence that we have within us is magnificent in context of the whole of all of us. Seeing that we bring something different. There is something truly amazing about knowing that and realizing that, and then coming back from living from love, not fear, because love connects us. Love tells us, when we are coming from love, we know that we are enough. So right here in this moment, I'm speaking and I have opened this summit. And over the next 3 days, we have some amazing speakers. And my head is saying, intermittently, my head is saying, oh, you better do something better than this, because I'm looking straight at Tanya, and when she speaks, she's going to say something really impressive, and everybody's going to forget you even exist. And that's the kind of thing that our heads do to us. I'm pretty sure through conversations, and if you've never had that, well, brilliant. Lucky you. But that is the kind of thing that our head does. And this is when we go back to, this is what I love about understanding the principles. It says, you don't have to listen to that. You don't have to take any notice of that. And it's absolutely true. Tanya, I have listened to Tanya speak when we were at Viva in Spain. I went to a talk that Tanya gave, and it was magnificent. It was brilliant. It really touched me. But from 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 an understanding from love, from that connection, from seeing that I am enough and that Tanya is enough, it's like everything we bring is needed. It's none of this happens in isolation. This is it. This is the oneness piece. And if we try to do this on our own, we are not here to do this on our own. We are here to lift each other up, to say, yes, my head does that to me too. But please, when your head does that, when your head says you're not good enough, don't take any notice of it, because the flower that you bring to this garden changes the garden. It makes my flower look better. It lights me up and it lights you up. And there are moments when people will be looking at the flower that is called Deb and great and smelling the perfume and wonderful. And then there will be moments when they're looking at Tanya or Robin or Jack Pransky or anyone, someone else who's talking and brilliant. Those things together. And we all have flowers we like better, things we would put in our garden, things we would nurture more. And that's okay too. That's okay too. But just never, ever doubt what is within you. Never doubt that. Don't ever let your mind tell you there are other magnificent people. There absolutely are. And know their magnificence. Do that. Be in service to their magnificence. Because when we are in service to someone else's magnificence, that's what makes our magnificence be able to be seen. And it's really important that both of those things happen. So what the principles did to me was give me that foundation, that amazing foundation. And then it was like, okay, so I have this life and I have this understanding. What do I want to do? And this to me is what is we all have, this is the thing that we have inside us. This is our flower, this is our whatever it is, our tree, whatever it is we bring. We all have something that we are here to bring. And whatever it is, if right now your head's going, yeah, but all I'm any version at all, if there is anything going on in your mind now that is in this vein, right, okay, absolutely understand the principles. You do not have to listen to that voice. You do not have to take any notice of that if you don't want to. There is, when you look at the world that we live in, when you look at, there are daisies that come up in my lawn. There are dandelions that flower. There are chocolates that I love to eat. There is, I've got my computer here on a table. I've got my Lipsil here, which I really, really value when my lips feel sore. I've got my glass of water here that is really helpful to me when I'm thirsty. It doesn't matter. I've got a rubber here that's in the shape of a whale. It doesn't, you might be here to be a rubber shaped whale. I don't know. What I'm saying is all of it. I love all of the things. I've got many, many things. My desk is completely, a tissue for when my nose, there are loads and loads and loads of things. And what my head tends to do is go, oh, I'm only a rubber-shaped whale. I would be much more useful if I was a hairband. Whatever it is, this is that that goes on in our mind. And so it is recognizing within ourselves, we have fear shows up as you can begin to, and this is what the love experiment has really shown me. It's shown me the vibration of fear. It's shown me, it's really clearly said, yeah, okay, you can think that if you want to, but love wouldn't think that. Love would appreciate whatever it is you have within you. Love would love that. And love would be in service to what is in others. Love would help others nurture the seeds that is within them, to bring that out, to make, I've got an array of amazing things on my desk. It looks great. And it's like, yeah, that. It's an array of these brilliant, amazing, fantastic things. So it is playing, which is, I'm sure you know by now, something that I love, love, love to do, playing with it, seeing, okay, so even though my head says, I'm not good enough, I need to control myself, I need to control other people, I need to control life, I need to control the world so things can be okay. It's like, love doesn't need any of that. Love just allows you to be you. It allows you to bring out and nurture what is in you. And so with an understanding, a grounding, something we can stand on, something that is beneath our feet, what we begin to see is that when we play with this idea of living from love, not fear, we begin to see that all of these things that arise within us, all of these fearful things that arise within us, are not as powerful as we are when we are connected to God, to love, to the power behind life. Nothing is more powerful than us when we are connected in that way. We see that when we nurture what is within us and trust in God, the power behind life, truth, love, when we trust in those things and are always prepared to adjust when we notice, it's like we're going to get it wrong. I say things sometimes and afterwards I think, oh, why did you say that? You're going to look like a right idiot, whatever it is. And it's like, but that's okay. It's okay. Love says it's okay to make mistakes. Fear says we have to control and be perfect. Love says it's okay to make mistakes. And that helps us continue to show up again. And one of the things when we're looking at principles and seeing, one of the things about the principles of God or love is it's all knowing. So we make mistakes and we can adjust and change. We can change and become better. And when I look at my journey since coming across the principles to where I am now, there has been a lot of changes. There has been a lot of different Debs show up. You know, one day this, one day this, one day this. I've changed, I've grown, I've become something different. What I know about love or God is that never happens. Because when the power behind life, the creator of all of this is the beginning and the end, is all of it. And so there is no need for change and to become better. So if we are leaning into that, if we are connected to that, if we become more like that, like the love experiment is about, can we become more like love? Can we show up more lovingly? The more we become like that, our deeper spiritual nature, what created us, what brought us here, has no need to be different. And yet we have the capacity to be different. We have the capacity to show up differently. We have the capacity to if we go back to the identity piece, that identity that we create for ourselves and live into, the I'm not good enough, other people are better than me, I need to control, all of those, the lies that we tell ourselves, the identity that we build on the lies that we tell ourselves, we have the capacity to change. We have the capacity to become more. We have the capacity to be more. And if you look at how it works, it is be, do, have. Time, space, matter. Sydney Banks talked about this experience that we have is suspended between time, space, and matter. So we live as a human experience is limited, if you like. It is the allness of everything, limited within time, space, and matter. Now, time allows us to become. We can become more. If we are living in a lie identity, we can change that. We can continue to become more. And we can only, our doing will always arise from who we are being. We cannot outdo our being. It's not possible. Who we believe ourselves to be, who we are being, will always inform what we do. And then what we do, so we become, and then we do, and then we have that is the results. So if we go time, space, matter, time to become, space within which we can do, and matter is what we produce, is the things, the actual, you know, the things that are made of matter. So time, space, matter, do, be, have. Be, and then do. So if we come back, if we want to change, it starts within our being. That's where it starts. All true change, all sustainable change starts within our being. Who are we being? And that to me was the real value in the love experiment, and that the making a commitment. So I made the commitment to be, to come from love, to be more loving. I made that commitment. And with that commitment, that changed my being. It changed something within me. It changed who I was being in a way. And the way that it changed, it literally for me, and the whole thing with this, as I said, we all have something magnificent within me. And if you go away from this with nothing else, know that you have magnificence within you. Whatever you label it or call it or don't believe anything, you have magnificence within you. And so what happened when I made this commitment was any time that I wasn't doing that, it was like a voice showed up in my head and said, yeah, you know you're coming from fear right now. Yeah, it's okay. But you know, you've made this commitment to come from love, and you are aware you're coming from fear. And sometimes it really helped me. It was like, well, to me, it was God speaking to me and saying, you're in fear at this moment. And if you want to come from love, I will help you. I will show you how. And that is the power. This is when I'm saying anything that happens to us, we are greater than it. The magnificence within us is always, always, no matter what, always greater than it. And so when I made that commitment, it was like, okay, you're greater than this. This thing that's going on for you, this fear that's arising in you, you are greater than it. Do you want to step into that being greater than it? Or do you want to give it the power to be greater than you? Because that's what's happening. You are giving it the power to be greater than you. Do you want to be greater than it? Or do you want to give it the power to be greater than you? And there are times, many times, when I give it the power to be greater than me. But the more awareness I have, the more chance I have not to do that. And so that is the invitation, that making a commitment to coming from love, not fear. That's the invitation that it opens up. I'm aware that you have your hand up, Beck. So have I been
Pretty much bang on time, Deb. It was just a little wave to say when you're ready. That was really beautiful. I really enjoyed that, and I think that's left us with some gorgeous questions, hopefully. So shall we take a 5-minute comfort break? Is that good for you, Deb, and everyone?
Yep, that works for me.
Perfect. We'll be back at 50 minutes past the hour, and it'll be time for questions then. Thank you, Deb. That was lovely.
Thank you.
Hello, Deb.
Hi, Lou. Haven't seen you for ages. How are you doing?
Hello. All right, welcome back, everybody. Feel free to pop your cameras back on because it is lovely to see all your happy, smiley faces. Hopefully, most of you are there.
Maybe we're on our own now.
Yeah, no, I think cameras are starting to come back on, so that's good. I hope you had a good break and feel refreshed and ready to go. So we have sort of 25-ish minutes now for kind of questions and comments and interaction. And if you're a silent crowd, which we sometimes get, it will not take much for me to kind of wind Deb back up to talk again. So either is good. But if you do have questions, feel free to either wave at me, or you can use the react button to pop up an electronic hand and we will come to you in turn. And while we're waiting to see if anyone has questions, Deb, do you want to share a little bit about the mini love experiment that we're going to share for people? And I will pop something in the chat box for people to have a look at as well.
Yes. So I mentioned the love experiment, which is something that, as you probably heard in that I am playing with quite a lot. And we have, for anyone who is here, and a little gift thing that we are doing. We're doing a little mini month of the love experiment, because we have started a program. It didn't start as a program. It just started as something I was playing with. And then over time, evolved, whatever, into a program called the Love Experiment, and that is a year-long program. Um, but we decided for this, for the summit here, we would offer anyone. We put together a little month's worth of taster, really, of what the Love Experiment is, because it absolutely is something that you can do on your own. It's not, the idea of the program is if you want to get involved, if you want to join in with other people, then it's a great way of doing it. But you can absolutely do this completely and utterly on your own. So we put together a month's worth of Love Experiment for you to get the feel for what it is, get the idea behind it. And I'm sure Beck has got a link for that. The link will go out in the emails anyway, but I'm sure she can pop a link in the chat. If you want to sign up and have a play with that, then it would be great to have you join in. And as you probably know from who we are and how we work, we love, love, love hearing from people. So, if you play with it, do anything, we love getting emails. We love hearing from people. So, yes, if you do it and tell us how you get on, interact with us. Have I forgotten anything about that, Beck? Was that about right?
I think so, yes. I'll pop the link in the chat. Obviously, if you have any questions, please just ask, like Deb said,
Yeah.
of interacting and hearing from you. So while you're thinking about signing up for that as a little free gift from us, feel free to raise your hand if you've got any questions, comments, interactions. Smile, wave, or nod in my direction.
I just wanted to say the lovely Lizzie said she's here and listening, but she's poorly in bed, which is why her camera is off. So shall we all send the lovely Lizzie lots and lots of love and healing love to make you feel better? Oh, hi, Lizzie. Sorry that you're not feeling well. Let's all send her lots and lots of love and healing vibes to make her feel better. So, Lou, go for it.
I can never unmute on this thing. I just thought if no one's asking any questions, I'm going to jump in and converse with you because I really loved like what you were talking about the commitment thing, Deb, with the like from love and that. And I love it when you get this like thing where you haven't like I didn't even see that that's what I've been doing in the last year. But as you were talking, it was making so much sense to me on like with my journey about the like the health and the fitness and the eating and the moving and all that sort of stuff that's been going on for me for the last year. And it was only like I think it's only been in the last week and I had a call with Rani the other day and about
Mm.
this and I was like, wow, it's almost a year since I started back at the gym and this last week I've had three people say to me like, hi, Liv, have you lost weight? And I'm like, I don't really know, but yes, probably. And it's just like the noticing of that commitment has come so naturally
Mm.
from that space of love because of like I really kind of see how when we connect and understand that space of love and we come from there and we live from there if you like more than living from the fear like you're saying with the experiment it has that knock-on effect and it brings up that aliveness that wants to come through and show through us and that for me comes in this it makes complete sense to me that it's come in health and fitness because of quitting the drink almost 6 years ago and just the oh yeah and now this makes sense and now this makes sense and let's get cleaner and healthier and fit over here and it's just been such a great progress and journey to watch that love shine through myself in that way and that expression of God kind of yeah just show itself so much in the last year and it's great when other people are seeing it as well, but oh my God, I'm seeing it. And I'm like, yay, look at what you've done and look at how far you've come. And it's just I'd say if I wasn't me, I'm a shining example of this, Deb. So yeah. Just that really. I just love the and I think the commitment, like I was always scared of like the commitment thing, but it's when it happens naturally, it's not like, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing that. It's just happening, you know, and it feels so genuine. I've been watching myself the last couple of weeks be like, I don't even want to eat shit. I had to try and make myself eat shit the other day because I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat a burger. I was like, I don't ever want to. But it's weird to explain, but like it's just genuine. In fact, I was saying to Bet, like when we were talking about it this morning, like the drinking thing, I'm so glad it took so long to get there because I didn't have to do it. Because I did so much inner work and grounding, it wasn't like I had to stop drinking and try. It happened because I'd fundamentally changed from growing into that space of love, I suppose. So yeah, I see that a similar thing's been happening. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of throw that comment out there and be like, yay. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And it is that, isn't it? And almost like the idea of committing to living from love, not fear. What you see is any areas in your life that aren't working, that's where it has an impact. So you don't have to worry about a specific thing. If you do that generally, it kind of clears it all up. So
yeah, exactly that. And yeah, and I was just to finish off, like, because I think you know anyway that I went on, Hannah Studley asked me to go and share my journey and her membership the other day, and it was great. We just ended up talking all about the whole, like, the coming from love and that kind of thing, and it was just, it's just lovely to see how far you've come on your own journey, and it's so cool.
it is
Yeah,
lovely.
cool.
It's lovely to have to see that, to watch you. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
and you, obviously.
Thank you.
Oh, can you mute me back? I can't do it on here.
Hi, Gail. You have your hand up.
It's interesting that this word commitment is very strong here, and I don't like it. I find it really, really hard, I think. I mean, it sounds a dreadful thing to say, but when I got married very young. I was about 20, and it was the right thing to do at the time, but I know there was a part of me that was scared and of making a commitment, as it were. And it's like something about being trapped is my fear, in a way, that I don't want to feel trapped by making a commitment, because some part of me has got a message about, well, if you make a commitment, you can't undo it. Where that's come from, I really don't know. And I suppose that's where I struggle in some ways with that word is, I mean, the saying that, some belief about not being able to undo it, that just came out there and then. I'm not sure I knew that before I spoke it. But I think, I don't know if you just want to say more about that, really, because I know that is a big issue for me. I don't make commitments easy. I'm in some ways, if I say I will do something, I do it. If I say I'm going to meet somebody at a certain time, I will bust a gut to get there on time, and not always in a good way, but it's like there's something around that word and what I attach to it that has such a weight for me. It doesn't have a lightness in the way that Lucy was just describing, or as I heard you, maybe I've got that wrong. I could have gone off for a bit into my own world, but or the way there's something around that. So if you can lighten it up for me, I'd be really grateful. And if anybody can do it, it's probably you, Deb. So
Okay. So one of the things that we play around with a lot is always using everything for yourself and not against yourself, because the very nature of life is an experience of duality. So absolutely everything, like you have beautifully highlighted here, no matter what everything has two sides, duality. That's how we, oneness. There is only love. There is nothing else. But to have a human experience, love or God or whatever it is, has had to create the illusion of two, of more. And so that gives us this idea that, a commitment can be a really incredibly useful thing. But it can be this terrible thing too. And everything has that in a human experience. And it is coming back to seeing even freedom when you think about it. And when I spoke about how if we nurture our flower, if we nurture what is within us, its beauty, a lot of its beauty arises from everyone else doing that same thing, the garden, the variety of it all. So the variety and seeing things in different ways is a good thing, but then it is seeing we can use this for ourselves or against ourselves. And then it's just gently looking and seeing, okay, how can I use a commitment for myself? Because one of the things when you're talking about that, so I got married very, very young, and I was married for a very, very short amount of time, and I got divorced. I got out of that relationship. Then I got into another relationship, and I felt really, really, really bad about the terrible person that I was and what I had done. And so when I got married again, I committed to that marriage, and it was horrendous. And I would not let myself leave. That was one of the reasons. That was how I ended up in an abusive relationship for over 20 years, because there was no way. I had made a commitment. I was this terrible, terrible, terrible person who'd done this terrible thing. And now I had to make a commitment. And now what I can see is I was really, really, really using that against myself. And it's like, it's perfectly okay. I am committed to living from love, not fear. But I am also committed to not using that against myself. And this is the whole, I can forgive myself. I can let myself off the hook. I can make mistakes. I can, there is freedom, and freedom can only happen. You can't have freedom without boundaries. It's one of those weird things. It's like you can't be free if there is nothing to be free from or free. We need those boundaries to have that experience. So to me, I would invite you to do it incredibly lightly and see if this isn't working for me. And one of the things that can really happen in that environment is you can begin to discernment. You can discern, okay, is this a moment to stick with that commitment or not? So one of the things that we did was there are 12 aspects of our own mind that we can play with, and one of those was that I wrote about a while back, and one of those was discernment. And that for me is huge. It's to see, okay, if I make a commitment to doing this, can I bring discernment in and decide? Because when I made that commitment to stay in this second relationship, no matter what, because of how terrible I'd been and what a terrible person I was, and now I've made this commitment, I can't look at whether this is a good idea. I can't, change that. I've done it now. And it's like, no, actually, there was room for discernment there. There was room to look and to forgive myself and to love myself and to make a different decision. And so for me, a commitment, that beautiful quote that I shared, shows you the power of making a commitment, but you can do it from a place of continually checking in with discernment. Is this commitment serving me, or is it time for a new one, to change it, to adjust it a bit? And that's the whole thing about an experiment. It's like, I'm experimenting, so I can change it. If I'm committed to this and it's no longer working for me, I can commit to that. And it's just, it's seeing and noticing. The discernment piece for me around the commitment will weed out those moments where, yeah, you're just letting yourself off the hook when you should actually stay with this commitment because it's going to be more helpful, versus those moments when it's like, actually, no, this is a moment to not be committed in this way anymore. And so it's just seeing that for it's the reason we make a commitment is to set in motion amazing things, but we do it with love and discernment.
And I hear a lot of kindness in that,
Absolutely.
you know, and I think that's valuable to kind of hear. And as you say, to discern when maybe this is a moment not to let myself off the hook with it, just maybe for this particular occasion, rather than actually and dropping. It's not a, well, during Viva and Living Miraculously, I had a whole thing about either or and becoming both and. So this sounds a little bit on the same thing. It's not an either or.
No,
it's actually it's a both and. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a theme for me for a little while.
Great theme. I love it.
Okay, thank you very much for what you shared, Deb, and Lucy too. It was really helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Tanya.
Hello. So lovely to be here. And to see people I've seen in real life back in boxes, that's, you know, kind of.
Yeah, it was so good to get to be together in real life. I know you're a real human being now.
Exactly. So it's so interesting because when I heard you talk about a commitment to love, I got a sense of freedom from it, which is not, you know, my perspective right or another wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just to see that there is like a different experience of it. But when you interchanged God with love and I'm play with, you know, what else can we use instead of mind, you know, God, love. And then I thought, oh, that's so interesting because I'm sure that some people, perhaps in that sense of love, if they've had a disappointment in love, in a relationship that they, you know, that they experienced love and then there was disappointment, then maybe that would feel like limited somehow. And when you said a commitment to love, I got that sense of freedom because it felt like, oh yeah, there is this source of love that's endless and flowing. And it's almost like we have that free will to step into that flow and like receive it and allow it to come through us, which felt like, wow, that's and it's like that commitment to the truth of that, which for me, like when you just said it, I was like, wow, that's so amazing. That feels like ease because I know there is this endless source of love that takes care of me and takes care of everyone. And if we just move into that flow and commit to the possibility that we can live from that flow, that felt like, oh yeah, that's really nourishing for me. So I just thought I would share that it just felt light. But yeah, I know that we can have different experiences of exactly the same words.
Yeah. Which is why these conversations are great, you know, which is why we do summits, which is why we do our conference, which is why, you know, it's really that is about the learning, and this is how we nurture the magnificence within each one of us. We play, we experiment, we come together, we share things, we like, oh, this word means this to me, or this word means this to me. And it's like, well, okay, how am I using things for myself and how am I using things against myself? And a commitment to living from love is, how can I use things for myself, for others, for this? And yeah, with a lightness. And I loved how you described it, just seeing, yeah, there is like a river of nourishment, a river from source that is love. And again, it's seeing that the principle of love is that it is a river that never changes. It never stops being for us. It never stops nourishing us. It never stops showing up in that way. And yet, when we get caught in our mind, when we get caught in our thinking, when we get caught in fear, it can really, really look as if things are against us. And yet it is saying, okay, what happens if we move back in this direction, if we commit in this way and move it? What's possible? And so the whole idea of it being a playful experiment, that takes the heaviness out of it, that takes the drudge out of it, that takes the oh I've got to out of it. It's like, yeah, I'm playing, I'm experimenting. What happens? What will I see? And I think if we are just open to being playful in that way, and exactly what you said, we all have different experiences of different words, and we have different experiences as we grow and change throughout our lives. We experience, we will have an experience of something and then experience it again, and it will be different. And so the whole idea behind staying light and playful with it and it being an experiment. I remember when Lou did stop drinking, we'd been talking about challenges and things and kind of saying, we'd been doing a few challenges and things in our business and playful challenges. And then Lou came up with this, she joined something that was an experiment, right? Experiment with giving up drink. And she said, oh, I much prefer that. She said, I don't want to be challenged to do this hard thing, but I really like the idea of experimenting with it. And I thought, yeah, that's true. It's really, and like there are moments for challenges. I love a challenge sometimes. Sometimes that's great fun. It lights me up. It's brilliant, fantastic. And again, it's like, if we go back to Gail, it's not either or. It's like, what in this moment? What is helpful in this moment? And I, definitely with Lou, the challenge, I guess she was already finding it challenging. The whole drink thing just felt like a challenge. And so to challenge herself just felt like hard work. And yet this whole playful, well, what if we experiment? What if we just play with this? And so, yeah. And to me, we get feedback. That's the whole point of an experiment. If it's like, right, what happens if I decide today I'm going to experiment with living from love to not fear? And it just, to me, that is like, that's like the ask and it is given. That's like praying. That's like asking, okay, what happens if I do this? I'm going to play with it. I'm going to see what comes. And it helps us show up with an expectancy. And then things do happen from that expectancy. We get feedback. So yeah, thank you. That is beautiful. Marie, did you have your hand up? Mary, I'm sorry. Oh, could you unmute? You are muted. Can we unmute you?
Are you on a phone, Mary? So I think you have to scroll across if you're on a phone, and it gives you the option to tap to unmute.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry about that.
There you go. No, that's totally cool.
I'm obviously not used to doing this on a daily basis. All right. There was just I've heard you before, Debs, talk about playing with words and the playful experiment. And even here for the last 40 minutes, I heard you. I listened to you, but I couldn't hear it. Not until Gail started talking about commitment.
Yeah.
Because I would be a person that would say, I'm going to meet you at 9 o'clock. And I could knock down 10 cars, but to be there at 9 o'clock, right? So your idea of playing with it, I was going, what? I just couldn't. I couldn't absorb it, but I can now absorb it when you put it in terms of discernment. And that makes so much sense. Like, for instance, I decided a couple of days ago for my own mental health, I'm going to walk every day for December. Now, I didn't get to walk some days. But what I did was, I knew today there's a storm today. I said, I'm going to do this summit. I'm not going out in that weather, but I'm going to do the summit. And that's a very small piece now compared to what you're talking about. But it made it made sense of the playfulness and the experiment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, just those two things of saying, okay, I'm not going to get out because of the weather's too dangerous, but I'm going to sit here in my nice warm room and enjoy the summit.
Perfect, perfect.
And I see that as giving myself time and of exploring the possibility. I might do this experiment now.
If it makes sense to you,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, you see
beautiful.
the hint with the commitment. I said I might do the experiment. I most probably will.
That is
So
beautiful.
thank you.
No, thank you. And to me, this is what I'm saying about the what's within us. It's like you might label that as small, but those small things make a huge difference. A huge difference. They really, really do. And very, very often, you know, when we say, oh, there's magnificence within us, one of the ways our heads can then, oh, well, no, what I'm doing isn't magnificent. And it's like, no, those magnificence, where, you know, some of the tiniest flowers are really magnificent. So yeah, don't dismiss the magnificence of the smallest steps in that direction. I've heard great things about you, Mary.
Oh,
From the
what have I heard?
Angelina. How amazing you are. So it's it's really, really, really beautiful. And this is what I mean about coming together in community and having these conversations and seeing, like you said, I said all that, and then Gail said something, and it's like, oh, and this is what I mean about we need each other. In just on our own, we can know something within us and express it to the best of our ability, and then someone else, like you say, hears it when somebody else says something else. That's what's so amazing. That's what's great about coming together. That's what's great about conversations and exploring and experimenting. And that's the whole point of the love experiment. It's like, okay, just experiment, because you literally have no idea of how big and amazing and fantastic that what you have inside you is. And it maybe will just be those tiny little things, and all of a sudden it'll be like, oh my word, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I found that when I was talking to Angelina the last day, I had no idea of what I had done, of the significance.
Yes.
But now, having spoken to her, I've reflected back on it, and like, Mother of Jesus, I've done things in the last 10 days and said things that if you said it to me 2 years ago, I'd have went, you know, and it was acting out of care and affection, and it wasn't out of fear. So I'm really working on the whole of living in fear, because that's what I've been living in, isn't fear.
Yeah.
You know.
So no, thank you. It's beautiful to hear. And you know, this is why we do what we do, because we don't see until we see, and these conversations open a possibility. And when people come back and say, well, actually, this word commitment, I'm not sure if I like it, it's like, oh, okay, right, let's explore that then. Let's see. And like Lou, when she was doing the drinking, and it's like, no, I keep looking at these challenge things, and I don't, that's not working for me. And then, oh, experiment. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. And we're not all the same. But together we are so powerful. When we come together in love, there is incredible power. To be honest, when we come together in fear, there is incredible power, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way, no.
Yeah. So coming together in love creates incredible power in a really, really, really good way. So it's really lovely to see you. Thank you for making the decision, the commitment, whatever it was. I'm glad of the storm and that you're here today. It's wonderful to see you. So thank you.
Okay.
Beck, we have a couple of comments in the Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I'm conscious of the time, but I just want to read out. There's been some beautiful comments. Clearly, the word commitment is bringing up stuff, so that's wonderful. So Ellen said, "I wonder too if reshaping commitment, what could be committed to 20 years ago, may look different now because of how we evolved." Being in the now with our commitment, and I read that and thought, yeah, that's pretty much what was occurring to me as everyone was saying.
That's the great thing about an experiment. You can
it's a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Katie has said, a paraphrase that comes for me is a commitment to noticing and a commitment to playing and experimenting with love sounds much easier because we all like to play. And I feel like both those comments are kind of in keeping with the conversation there anyway. So that's perfect. It is very much about that. So thank you, everybody, for your comments, questions, interaction. It's been a lovely start to the summit. While it's been storming out there, it's been warm and cozy in here with all of you. So thank you for being here. We're back at 2 o'clock with the beautiful Tyson Larson, and she is talking about fixing the mirror, which is a very interesting topic. So we'll see where that came from and what.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your
Thanks very much.
Too.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. See you there.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.